Good morning. It's Julie Murphy. It's Talk to a Farmer, Talk to a Rancher Friday, Talk to Advocates for Agriculture Friday, so to speak. We're beginning a new series, this Talk to a Farmer Friday segment, so to speak. Excuse me. It's going to be on ag water, which is very important to all of us in the state of Arizona. Not just to farmers, but to you and me, homeowners, Arizona residents, everyone. And we're going to bring in some voices that are expert in this area on water and try to talk about some of the things that are going on. I did have a guest today. Hello, M. Dean 555. Thanks for joining. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments section. I did have a guest, but this guest had a family emergency, so we're going to reschedule. But I thought, I've got so much to talk about anyway as it relates to water and specifically ag water. Thanks, Joel, for joining. But because we have a very important topic, and like I said, this is a topic that's important to all of us in the state of Arizona, not just farmers and ranchers. But I am going to angle this series on water, specifically about agriculture water. And some very important things have just been released in the last week, and we know that there's going to be more important things that take place. But recently, the Federal Bureau of Reclamation released what they call the final environmental impact statement for the Colorado River. And for short, it's called FEIS, but the environmental impact statement is a 100+ document, and it's an important document, and it kind of gets into what's going on with the Colorado and what we all need to be concerned about. The Arizona Department of Water Resources and the Central Arizona Project, when it released I call it the FEIS report, the FEIS report, immediately came out with quick condemnation of the plan in separate written statements saying its provisions were both unacceptable and contained fundamental legal flaws. So that might be language to say, heads up, there might be a fight with this. But they're also, at the federal level, about to release, it's kind of a 10-year plan, but it has every 2 years, I'm calling it a rotation. It's not really a rotation. It's like every 2 years they're reevaluating where we are and what's happening with the Colorado River. That report, for many of us watching the water issue, is more critical and important and causing much more hope for us, because if this latest report from the Bureau of Reclamation gives us a 2-year plan, we're going to see some of the impact on that. So that's something that's taking place, and some of the water experts that I bring on in the next few weeks, will probably do this for about 2 months, we'll ask about that. We'll learn from them some of the things that they're highlighting, that they're concerned about, that they tell us that we need to watch for. We're, again, obviously expecting the 2-year operating plan, and we've been hoping that it would release this week. Maybe it releases today, Friday at 5 o'clock, TGIF, right? I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you. So we're waiting to see what that 2-year operating plan actually means. And at least in agriculture, we can't hold our breath. We'll pass out, but we are being hopeful, and we'll see what takes place. In the meantime, as some of this unfolds as it relates to the Colorado River and some major concerns, and it's, again, not just for agriculture, the cities, the tribes, some of the cuts that we're having to take in Arizona compared to other states, all of those elements and factors are in play, and it's definitely something that we have to be concerned about. So here at Arizona Farm Bureau, we are being very vigilant on tracking this, not only with our government relations department headed up by Chad Smith. here in the communications department, which I'm in charge of, we're tracking it on a reporting level. We have a new writer, Joanna Allhands, who hails previously from the Arizona Republic, worked for a bit with the Arizona State University, but we lured away under our banner, and she's tracking this like a hawk. So there's going to be a lot of reporting. And why is that important? Well, we're trying to tell the story behind the story in many ways, and we're really trying to commit ourselves to making sure that all points, all experts are being interviewed and all things. So what does that mean, and how is it helpful to you? One of the things you can consider is to regularly go, I would almost say on a weekly basis at a minimum, if not daily, because that's how many stories that we're churning out almost every other day. On our Arizona Farm Bureau website, the URL on that is azfb.org. And if you go to our blog, we call it the Voice of Arizona Agriculture blog. That's in the section under News and Information. If you go to that blog and you check on it on a weekly basis, hello, thanks for joining. If you have any questions, I'm launching a series today and going forward for the next 2 months on ag water. I'm telling everybody about our blog and how regularly we are posting based on some of the water issues that are occurring, the labor issues, all of those priority issues that are important to Arizona Farm Bureau, but not only Arizona Farm Bureau, but our farmers and ranchers here in the state of Arizona. But if you were to go to our blog today, the first article you would see is Colorado River projections paint a grim future for farmers. And the article drills down onto why we have some major concerns, and it may paint a grim future for farmers. We also have an article on the Kaywood family and what the census of agriculture, reveals about Arizona agriculture in terms of our demographics. Very interesting report. The census only occurs every 5 years, and this most recent census was done in 2022. So you might think, oh, that's old history. Well, again, they only do the census every 5 years. And that's under the umbrella of the United States Department of Agriculture. And it will let you see the profile of our current demographics here in the state of Arizona with our agriculture. Another article that you would see on our blog today, if you went to the blog section under news and information on azfb.org, is Colorado River water is no longer certain for Arizona. We have some looming issues here as it relates to the Colorado River, and again, we're staying on top of those issues and trying to make an informed understanding. So especially our farm and ranch leaders that are very heavily involved in the Arizona Farm Bureau can make informed and wise decision. This is a pretty exciting story that we posted on July 29th, the Arizona Net's crucial sterile fly facility as the border reopens. This is quite exciting news, and I remember going down south to Cochise County to gather with some of the farmers and ranchers, encouraging the USDA to consider reopening a sterile fly facility so that we can combat the New World screwworm on a solid plain level and make sure that we're spreading those sterile flies that will prevent the New World screwworm from scaling or getting large infestations. So that was just announced on the 29th of July. Another article related to the New World screwworm was that Texas is playing what we call whack-a-mole with the New World screwworm. We're able to learn from that, and we're kind of giving insights on some of the things that are happening in the battle against this pest. The Arizona border port is about to reopen, and that was an announcement by Secretary Rollins of the USDA at the same time, by the way, when she announced that we now will have an Arizona-based sterile fly facility to battle the New World screwworm. So the last time she was here in Arizona, there was quite a bit of exciting news. Again, that's all the stuff that we're reporting here at Arizona Farm Bureau, thanks to the fact that I have a new writer front and center on a lot of these issues, Joanna Allhands. She's not writing alone. I write some of the articles, but very little compared to her. And then also our government relations department, with some of the things they do, they can report on a lot of the neat information. Thank you, Mr. Taylor, for joining. And we're just talking about a new series we're launching with Talk to a Farmer Friday on water. It's mostly going to have a hyper focus on ag water, but the reality of it is, if we're Arizona residents, if we live in the West, we all should be hyper focused and concerned about what's going on with water here in the West. And I'm also drilling down on some of the late breaking articles someone can read if they come to our website at Arizona Farm Bureau. Either just Google Arizona Farm Bureau or put in www.azfb.org. Another really important article that we just released recently is What's Cool Hours Irrigation and Why Does It Matter? That was actually tied into the new movie that we released, a little mini documentary. The long version is 24 minutes and the short version is 7 minutes. And the name of the movie is Growing Home, Arizona. And guess what? It's all about water. We're hyper-focused on water. It's our top priority issue. And as we launch this series on ag water, and again, I'll have guests. The guest that I actually had today, she had to cancel last minute because of a family emergency. And I thought, well, I can introduce the series and I've got plenty to talk about with water. But our new movie, that as well, you can watch either on our YouTube channel, our Arizona Farm Bureau YouTube channel, or you can watch the movie on our website. Again, azfb.org. Go to the banner tagline that says news and information, and I believe our movie page is right there in the second slot to the left. The movie's purpose is to show the shared values that we have in Arizona when it comes to water, whether we're from the urban arena or from rural Arizona. We wanted to feature 3 families to tell their stories. It's a very inspiring movie. I know I am a sentimental soul, so I probably shed a tear a little bit easier than I'm sure you do. It's not because I'm sad. It's just I just get touched, and my response is watery eyes. But it's a very inspiring movie. Hello, Marjorie from Agriculture. Thank you for joining us. We're launching a series on ag water, and today I'm kind of just giving some preliminary dialogue on it and what to expect from the series. But the movie that we just released, you can find it again on our YouTube channel, our Arizona Farm Bureau YouTube channel. It's called Growing Home, Arizona, and you can also find it on our website, Arizona Farm Bureau, or azfb.org. So there's moments in the movie when these 3 families, 2 farm families and a small business owner living in Metro Phoenix area, when you watch their stories and some of the challenges, whether my urban movie star in the movie or my 2 farm families, there's just moments in the movie that just really tug at your heart. You really understand some of the things that they're facing when it comes to water. And it really causes me to appreciate that the shared values that we have amongst each other, whether we're running a business like a farm or running, in the case of the guy that lives in the city, he's an HVAC owner. His dad launched the business and he's carried it on. Learning about these families and the value proposition that they see in us taking care of this very important resource, water. So Growing Home, Arizona, the movie that we just finished, there's a long form mini documentary and a short form. Again, the long form is 24 minutes. The short form is 7 minutes, if you don't count the credits. And it's another way for us to understand Arizona's water story. And hopefully, if you stick with me during this series that will probably run for at least 8 weeks, a minimum of 6, there's a lot that we're going to learn because I'm going to talk to the experts. You're not going to talk to me. I'm just a journalist. I'm just in charge of a communications department at Arizona Farm Bureau. But I'm going to bring to you some of the experts. And hopefully we have a good, solid discussion on some of the things that are going on, some of the painful things that are going on, some of the release, the announcements by the Bureau of Reclamation on the federal level as it relates to the Colorado River, us waiting with bated breath for the 2-year study, the 2-year reports, or what they call the 2-year operating plan. We were hoping that would be released this week. It still hasn't been released as of right now. Maybe it will be released today. Maybe since they know there'll be a lot of news hubbub and everybody's going to want to talk about it, maybe they're going to release it on Friday at 5 or today at 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. And that's the one that we're waiting on with bated breath. And agriculture is very concerned, but the cities are concerned and should be concerned. The tribes are concerned and should be concerned. So those are some of the things that we're going to look at in this next 6 to 8 weeks as it relates to water. A little bit of factual information here in Arizona. So you have this statistic in your head. We have basically 4 sources of water. The groundwater, that's the water under the ground, averages 41% of the water that Arizona Arizona in general has access to. The Colorado River is right behind that at 36%. Again, the Colorado River is a big source of water for not just agriculture, but for the cities and for the tribes. That's 36% of that pie. In-state and streams is 18%. And then we can claim that 5% of the water that we use for all sorts of things is reclaimed water. So again, groundwater, the largest, Colorado River water, in-state and streams, and then the reclaimed water. So that just shows us that pie of where our sources of water are coming from and how important water is to all of us, certainly in agriculture, but also for the cities and the tribes. And it's time for us to come together and try to address solid and common solutions that can help us with some of the water challenges that we're all facing. And go to our website at Arizona Farm Bureau, azfb.org, and hunt for our Growing Home Arizona movie page, and you can see our mini documentary where we profile 3 families, 2 farm families and 1 urban family, on what their heart and their take on the water issues here in Arizona are. Stick with us. We're going to have a great series. It began today. We did have a guest, but she had a family emergency, so we're going to reschedule her. But every Friday now for the next 2 months, we're going to be talking about water in Arizona, and specifically and certainly ag water. So stay tuned, be blessed, and I'll see you next Friday.